It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. It's Thursday evening, April 27th, 2017. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, gold, euro, and FDAX tonight. Crude is bullish with two channels this evening, both of which telling us to look for buying opportunities at prior support levels in the chart, and both giving us potential targets up at that big round number at $50 a barrel to finish off the week and the month tomorrow. The S&P looks bullish at first, and it may end up that way tomorrow, but the buyers need to show us some proof before we can even consider being a buyer right now. Until then, we're keeping our eye on a retest of today's low. Very much a toss-up on the S&P for tomorrow. Got a great plan for that. Stick around for that in a moment. Gold is sideways and range-bound this evening, right on top of that pesky prior month high, making our plan pretty simple tomorrow. We're going to buy low, sell high, and avoid the middle, focusing on failures on the gold. Real narrow chart there on gold. We'll grab that in a second. The euro's bearish and trying to retest today's low, but three levels of support and a trend line are telling us to wait for better selling opportunities with a trap high tomorrow. And of course, we can't forget about the FDAX. The DAX is bearish and trying to retest today's low, but we have a support trend line getting in our way. So the plan is to look for selling opportunities up at key levels of resistance waiting overhead. We are ready to wrap up the week, ready to wrap up the month, and of course we've got some very active markets here as we finish up this week and finish up the month of April. Got a great plan of attack here for you guys. Before we jump into that chart, though, I do want to remind you the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog here at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link and come join me on the blog here at Sideways Markets with a full-length version, all 5 markets, all the analysis for the full-length version of the blog at Sideways Markets. While you're here, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when our nightly newsletter goes live. Follow me on my many different social media channels in the lower left-hand corner. Right, follow me on social throughout the day. I'm always posting important charts, links, and updates throughout the day on my social media channels. Grab those charts right below the video tonight. Right below that video on the blog. How easy is that? You can have all the charts from tonight's video on your computer for tomorrow. Follow that link below the video on the blog at Sideways Markets. And please don't forget to grab your free pass. If you're not an advanced member with me here at School of Trade, you're going to learn more with me in 90 minutes on that free pass than anywhere else on the interwebs. I can guarantee you that. Make sure you grab that free pass and come out and join me as a guest in the trade room this week. And please don't forget, if you're brand new, anyone brand new to the SOT community, that's right, grab that frequently asked questions page and learn the who, what, where, when, and why. We're well known in the industry as being the industry leader in trading strategies and professional grade education. It's been a fantastic week. It's been a fantastic month. We're only as good as our trades for tomorrow, though. Let's get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, is the final day of the week and the final day of the month. A perfect cocktail for some volatility. We know the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month. Traders take bigger risks, so be prepared for these risks tomorrow. Tomorrow is not the day you want to go increasing position size, trying a new strategy, right? Or going from simulated trading, right, to live account trading. Make sure you are very careful tomorrow. Tomorrow really has potential to be either a sleeper or a gangbuster. It really could be either or. Got a lot of geopolitical stuff going on out there in this crazy world of ours right now, so we might see some new stuff overnight. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow, though, major news on the calendar. We have kind of a peppering here of news right early in the morning at 1:30 and 2 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm not expecting that to have too much of a movement on the market tomorrow. I think the bulk of the news tomorrow in London will be at 4 o'clock, 4:30, and 5 a.m. And then, of course, at 8:30 tomorrow morning in the U.S. That's where we expect to see most of the movement happening tomorrow. Going to be late in London. Again, pending any unforeseen situations that develop overnight, right? Anyone reading the headlines these days knows a lot of stuff here happening in the Asian into London session. So we'll keep our ears and eyes open for that tomorrow. But of course, assuming we don't have anything crazy happening here overnight, we have major news tomorrow, 4:30, 5 a.m. And again, that big GDP number, right, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which of course will be on everyone's minds. If you guys are going to be trading Sunday evening, we have some news coming out on Sunday evening from China, so be aware of that. Anybody out there right? Trading the Asian session at the opening bell on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time. 9 o'clock on Sunday, you're going to see some more news from manufacturing from China. So that will definitely probably get this market, right, this market moving on Sunday evening if you're hanging around the computer and looking for trades on Sunday evening into Monday's session. Don't forget, end of the week, end of the month. Careful here tomorrow. Get to those trades early. As I always remind you, it's an early in, early out scenario on Fridays. I'll gladly get into new positions up until about 11 o'clock, 11:30 Eastern time tomorrow morning. But after 11 a.m., you really got to have a good reason to be getting into new positions. You're going to see bigger risks, more volatility, hopefully more volatility. Again, like I said, it's kind of a toss-up here right now because of this being the end of the month, right? It could be very volatile tomorrow. Could also be very slow. We won't know more about that until we get there tomorrow. Don't forget, we'll be trading the entire plan tonight. Tomorrow in our trade room, we'll be in the trade room tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time with all of our advanced members. I hope to see you guys there. Get a lot of work to cover tonight. Let's get started. We got crude, S&P, gold, euro, and of course we can't forget about the old FDAX tonight. We'll wrap up with the FDAX this evening. Crude is bullish with a spike in channel sitting on top of a prior week high, which of course is a price magnet as we go into Friday's session. Now we have two channels to consider for tomorrow, both telling us to look for buying opportunities down at support levels below us. The spike in channel, the little small spike in channel, tells us to look for traps at prior swing lows, and the multi-tier channel tells us to look for buying opportunities back at the low. Both of these channels, of course, tell us to buy low, and both of these channels gives us a target back up to retest the high and potentially a retest of that 50 round number as we finish off the day, the week, and the month tomorrow. The first thing that stands out here is this prior week low. We know that at the end of the week, we start looking in, right? So we start looking left and we look at those prior week high and prior week low. At the end of the week, the prior week levels matter. At the end of the month, the prior month levels matter. We're not really within striking distance of a prior month level on crude oil right now, but we do have a prior week level right around that 49.20. So don't be surprised if that turns into a bit of a sticking point here tomorrow. Most important thing here on this chart, though, is going to be these two channels. First of all, I think the more accurate channel right now is this spiking channel. This spiking channel to finish the day here. Buyers got a new higher high. They held their pullback and continued on strength. Draw that high, draw that trend line off the high, bring it back down to that low. And basically what this tells me is look for these areas of support and look for price to pull back so we can buy low, right? A spiking channel always tells me look for a trap low, because what a spiking channel really tells us is that everybody should be long, right? Strong spike up, spiking channel, everybody should already be long in this market right now. There are plenty of opportunities, whether you buy the break higher, or you buy the first pullback, the second pullback, everybody should already be long. Price is too high to be buying right now. I want to be buying low. Look left, find those prior swings, and look for those buying opportunities back below those prior swings on that spiking channel. The second channel here starts off really with a trend line, right? A support trend line coming off of that low. Well, if you take that trend line and you put it up at the highs here, it's really easy to see that trend line becomes a midline, right? That midline then, copy and paste up, and you can see it all fits nice and snug, right? Nice, comfortable, what we call a multi-tiered channel. Multi-tiered channels are a little bit tricky because you got to kind of be flexible with it. It starts off with this channel, starts off with that channel, and then of course with that channel, it's just a natural inclination now to think, okay, well, let's take that line and put it up one more time here, and sure enough, right, that is a little bit too much of a coincidence there not to be considered a multi-tiered channel. Now, multi-tiered channels, like I said earlier, we have the spiking channel, right? So the spiking channel is there already, so we're aware of that spiking channel. Multi-tiered channel, ultimately you want to think of this as a rising support level. That's the most important part of a multi-tiered channel. And so, of course, our job right now is going to be to get this price to pull back, right, so we can buy near the low of that channel. Now, with that multi-tiered channel, we also have a midline right in the middle. So if we do start seeing that midline hold, right, oftentimes it will act as support. Usually it's when the channel is a little bit flatter than this. You know, usually a multi-tiered channel that we can use both top and bottom of that channel is going to be a little bit flatter than this. This is a good looking channel here right now, so we probably won't be seeing that midline. But again, hey, we never know what we're going to get. We'll wait and see what we get tomorrow. But watch for that midline to act as support. And again, if it does, it'll kind of be lumped into this spiking channel, I think, by most people's definition, right, if that midline does hold, right? So spiking channel, trap low, buy that dip, big bull channel here, right? That big bull channel, buy low, buy that dip. And again, there's a few different scenarios. We can be looking for that. Obviously here, a seller failure below the moving average, seller failure. That's one option. Another option here would be a multi-legged move, a two-legged correction, right? Use that trend line and buy that dip. That's pretty much those pretty much be the most reliable opportunities coming down. Anything else will require too much of a pullback, really be a trap low. It'll be a trap low, but that moving average will come down, and so it'll be a failure here more than anything else. So the moral of the story is buy low here on crude. If price does happen to push higher here, right, we have a quadruple up waiting overhead. That quad up at 49.56 is a big target here overhead. If we do push higher, your goal is to look for traps. Right? If we do push higher, your goal is to look for traps. I don't want to buy high, but if it doesn't give me a choice here to buy low, I'm going to do whatever I can to avoid buying high. Look at that two-legged pullback, we'll trap low, right, to prevent from buying high and to focus right on buying those pullbacks here tomorrow. Obviously, if this thing really gets moving, that $50 a barrel will be a good magnet here for us tomorrow. Don't be surprised if we end up sitting here by the end of the day tomorrow on that prior week low. What would it take to be a bear market? Strength, strong move down, moving average comes over, bears have to hold a pullback and keep going. We're going to see a good example of this on the S&P in just a few moments here, but the bears would have to get that new lower low, right? New lower low, hold that pullback and keep going on strength. That would definitely be the criteria here, right, for this market to turn bearish. And if it does, right, their objective is to retest today's low down at that 48.20. Again, buy it low. If it pushes higher, trap low, pulls back, failures, two-legged corrections for the retest of that high. Beautiful chart there on crude. And I'll tell you, that's where the beauty pretty much ends tonight. The rest of these charts are pretty darn ugly. You might want to get the kids out of the room for this one. Definitely not a chart, right, to be bringing home to mom. That's for sure. Let's take a look here. As we go into some chop and slop here, boy, this chart looks ugly. The S&P is trying to turn bullish, but they aren't buyers yet, right? The buyers haven't been able to hold a pullback yet, so we need to wait for more confirmation. The bears got what they were looking for from last night's newsletter, an opportunity to sell high and retest low. The big short covering rally, though, that happened over lunch was a very attractive buying opportunity for the bulls, but they appear to be struggling to push back through the high and take control. This market is a complete toss-up at this point, with a slight edge going to the side of the bears, and of course, we're looking for a retest to the low tomorrow. I'll tell you, this is a great chart here. Is it a range? Is it a trend? What the heck's going on with this S&P? Again, it's the end of the month, end of the week, right? This market looked a little bit punch drunk here towards the end of the session today. But whenever I find myself in a position where I can't quite look at a chart and get a good reading on it, I always do two things. One, go back in time and try to pick up on what the story the market's been telling us. You know, there's a soap opera that's developing every day on these charts. It's up to it's our job to go out and try to interpret what that story is that's being told. Once I get caught up on the conversation, once I tune into what the story is being told, then I want to think, who has control of this market? And once I know who has control, then we can start putting together a plan on this. And we do this over and over every day in our trade room. We always start out by going back in time, catch up on the conversation, as I call it, and then who has control, and we'll go from there. Now, if you recall from last night's newsletter, if I can rewind the tape a little bit, right? Last night we finished the day with a real strong move down. My exact words in last night's newsletter was look for a two-legged correction to sell high. Draw the trend line, bada bing, bada boom, two-legged correction, and back down you go. pretty easy just after the opening bell on the S&P. So if you listened to the newsletter last night, you were ready to rock today as this price trapped high, two-legged pullback, and then back down to retest a low. So here we are now. We go back down, we retest a low, and we see the sellers struggling now to continue pushing lower in next week's newsletters. Don't forget, if you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, it's only a small snippet on the YouTube channel. Check out the link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link and come join me on the blog at Sideways Markets for the full-length version. While you're here, don't forget, go to schooloftrade.com, and on the website here at schooloftrade.com, don't forget, join the free trial. We got a great free trial for you guys here at School of Trade. You're going to learn all about the who, what, where, when, and why our trading strategy, right, is one of the most reliable you'll ever learn. Grab that free trial right on the homepage of the website. And please don't forget our beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of membership. We have a place for everybody, whether you're brand new to this great business we call day trading, or you're a grizzled veteran still trying to crack the code, right, and get some consistency in your trading account, right? I call this the professional trader transformation. Check it out on the homepage of schooloftrade.com. And while you're here, don't forget, if you have any questions, I'm going to be here to help out every step of the way. Holler at me here in the headquarters here in Los Angeles. Hit me up on the live support tool on the right-hand side of the website, and I look forward to work with you guys every step of the way. Guys, what a great month. Hope you learned something. Careful tomorrow, end of the month, end of the week. Again, early in, early out on Fridays. You got a great plan, right? It's all between your eyes and ears tomorrow to trade that plan. We'll see you guys in the trade room at 8 o'clock Eastern time. If not, there's no newsletter on Friday nights. We'll see you guys. The next newsletter, right, will be on Monday evening, right? That's what May 1st. Yep, we'll see you guys on May Day, Monday evening, if we don't see you guys tomorrow morning. I'm out of here for now, guys. Be well out there. Be nice to each other. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.